I showed you the Google image, so I'm going to double click inside the project panel to get the image, or you could go File, Import File, then choose your image. So I saved it right here on my computer. I called it Google Image. So there it is. It's the 8-pointed star we already discussed. So I'm going to hide that. Now, the shapes you use to make this artwork is going to change how it animates in. So this first demonstration will be with using a shape layer star. So I'm going to go Layer, New, Shape Layer, Add Star, Polystar, Add Fill. Okay, and I'm going to make this medium gray just for the fun of it. Okay, now I'm going to scale this up. And I'm going to get rid of my guide because I don't need that anymore. Okay, so as I showed you in class, you can animate anything you want with keyframes. You can animate the number of points if you wanted. We want 8. So if I animated this over time, I'd set a keyframe and then another keyframe and change the number. But this is what we want. As I mentioned, if you change the inner and outer radius, you can make it look more like it does for Google. And the inner roundness and outer roundness is what will make it look more like a flower petal if you ever have to create a flower shape. Or you do something weird going in the other direction. That's all in the shape you want to make. So I'm going to set both of these to 0 and change my inner to about there. Okay. Now we need to punch out the middle of the image, and we did that by going Add. You could click on the Add down here or the Add up there. They both do the same thing. Add Ellipse, and I'm going to scale this up. So I'm going to twirl down my path next to the ellipse. I'm going to scale the size up uniformly to about there. That's almost exactly what I want. So this is the shape that's going to punch through the other one. So now we're going to go Add, Merge Paths. Now when I go down to my Merge Paths and I twirl down the arrow, you're going to see Mode. We don't want Add, we want to Subtract. Now we have that big hole there like a cookie cutter. That's exactly what we wanted. So the final step we did, we said, oh, let's do Trim Paths to animate this on. So I go to my Trim Paths, and this I will keyframe animate. So let's move this to 100. That's the look we want, and we did in class, where the circle comes in first. So I'm going to keep both these at 100. I'm going to animate my start. I'm going to have it come in about, let's just say 12 frames, like half a second. Nah, we'll do about there, 19. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to stop there when the first circle comes on. I'm going to want this to hang on for a little bit. So I'm just going to move here. And I'm going to click Add Keyframe right here between the arrows. Right there, the diamond. That's Add Keyframe. Okay, so it did not change in its size or value from there. So now I'm going to animate the rest on. So I'm going to move forward a little bit and animate the rest on. So that's one way of animating this on. I'm just going to change the speed of this. So I select all of them by clicking and dragging. Hover over one, right click, Keyframe Assistant. Easy ease. Click my graph button. Now the timeline becomes a graph. This is to zoom in, fill the graph, and see a little bit better. Okay. I'm going to want to go faster out of that keyframe and slow into this one like that. Keep those where they're at. And then speed out of this keyframe over here. And slow into the last one. So that's what our curve looks like now. So let's just see what the animation looks like. It's going slow on my computer because I'm recording at the same time. But you saw how the second part came in much faster. Now, I'm going to select all these keyframes. And as I told you before, if you hold down Option while you drag, it keeps the speed, and you can make it shorter or faster overall, because I'm going to animate these off. I'm going to move these three. Oops. I'm just going to change that speed right there. I'm going to move those a little closer. Okay, so once it's on, now I'm going to animate it off in a similar fashion. I'm just going to have it animate off over this amount of time. So it comes on with the animating the start, and then I'm using the end right here to animate it back off, like that. So that's one way of doing this, based off of a shape layer and using trim paths.